Yeah, good evening and welcome to this edition of Sports Updates on Novel TV. Today, the 2022 World Cup in Qatar just came to a close. In a few minutes' time, we shall be knowing the next nation to host the next World Cup. Well, with me in this edition to dissect the events of the World Cup, the team that celebrated the victory and the team that lost in tears. I have very wonderful analysts, social commentators who are in Novel TV station this evening. My name is Chidi Peters, and with me in the studio is Mr. Valentine. Mr. Valentine, welcome
Thank you very
to
much.
this segment of Sports Updates.
Thank
And again,
you.
I have a wonderful person again who is also a sports lover with me, El Novel. Yeah, welcome to this wonderful
Thank you so
edition.
much. Thank you
of
for
Sports
thank you for
Updates.
having me.
Yeah, a very quick one. Valentine, the World Cup had just ended, having the Brazil, the Argentina, lifting the World Cup after 20 something years.
36 actually.
So, what's our assessment of today's match?
Well, honestly, I didn't see the match coming.
Are you devastated because
Yeah.
you are dragging your words?
Yes, I'm not actually an Argentina fan, and I was rooting for France, and when we equalized 2-2 80th and 81st minute, I celebrated right here in the studio, and when we also equalized with the penalty at the 118th minute after Messi's goal at the 109th minute of the extra time, I also almost rolled on this same floor of the studio, but the penalty was a very heartbreaking one, and well, I would commend the Argentina team, and it was really heartbreaking. I didn't see the match going this way, honestly, and I'd like to also congratulate Messi and his team. Congratulate Martinez. He did a good job. He displayed a very high level of confidence, and I think overall they've been very outstanding. Apart from their first match, where they lost to Saudi Arabia, I think, yeah, and they've been consistent. So I want to commend them for their great efforts and going through with their vision. Congratulations to Messi for another groundbreaking record on his list of records. So I celebrate him.
A quick one, Noble. We say Mbappe, we say Messi, locking horn, mesmerizing and scintillating football in the pitch, as if the football is just meant for them. And of course, we can see people like Di Maria missing in action at a point. What's the assessment of these two football giants?
It's okay. Thank you so much for that question. You see, for quite some time now, the rivalry has been between Lionel Messi and Ronaldo. Like Va said, he was rooting for France, not really because he's a France. He wanted France to win, just because he's a Ronaldo fan. He doesn't want Messi to win. There's been this rivalry over the years for Lionel Messi and Ronaldo. Kudos to them. They held the world spellbound for over a decade. It's rare for you to see such talent. Then in this new dispensation, that's what we'll talk about Mbappe, we'll talk about Neymar. These are new people on the block. I think today Mbappe showed the world what he's capable of and what he has.
Yes.
This is the first time you're having a player at his age scoring a hat trick in the world in a football final like this. You understand? Difference between their style of play is Messi, the Argentina team were playing around Messi to ensure that Messi gets his style of football and performs. But Mbappe is more of that individualistic player. That's who he is. But then we'll give it to the both of them. Both of them took us to. They made the match exciting. Lionel Messi scoring 2 goals and Mbappe scoring 3 goals. It's just like he said, like he rightly said, it's just as if the match is about 2 of them. But even when Mbappe did not win the World Cup, but then he went home as the highest goal scorer, so he's going with the Golden Boot for scoring 8 goals. This is the first time we're having that. So kudos to both of them. They've done us proud. They've done the football world proud. And also, I would say kudos to Ronaldo though he couldn't take Portugal to this limit, but then he played his own bit. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can hear that Argentina have lifted the World Cup today, 22 World Cup today. And of course, with a lot of team losing their game and Africa not finding their fittings in the World Cup. Don't go away. When I come back, I shall be engaging two of them to talk more about Africa participation in the World Cup that has just ended and in the subsequent World Cup that is coming forth. Don't go away. Stay tuned with Novel TV. While we celebrate the Argentine for lifting the 22 World Cup, we are also seeing a lot of them in tears of joy. And of course, in the part of France, we are seeing them, of course, in the tears of pain, having lost the World Cup. But that notwithstanding, there is another time for them. And Valentine, let me move you to African participation in the World Cup. Till now, Africa has not lifted World Cup. And of course, the last time we had Morocco coming to a particular stage and they were knocked out. What do you think is African participation as far as World Cup is concerned?
Well, a good number of, I think about 5 nations in Africa, right, were represented this World Cup. And that wasn't very bad. It wasn't bad. It was a good one. But my major challenge, someone was arguing with me, I think 2 days ago, said one major reason why Africa doesn't really go far or are not rated one of the best in the world when it comes to World Cup is because they become very emotional when their government doesn't give them support. Forgetting the fact that individually, all of them are stars in various clubs worth millions of dollars. They forget that fact. Once their nation doesn't give them the support they really require, they start acting up, they start making a lot of noise, making reference to Nigeria in particular as a case study, but it's similar to every other African nation. And when I sat down, I started thinking back because I realized the captain of Morocco, he's actually different because he dedicated his entire bonuses to charity, which means he didn't actually care what the country was giving to them for playing the World Cup. He's a full-time patriot. All right. So if we have that kind of mindset for our players, irrespective of how their country manages them, I'm not against good management. All right. So I don't want to be quoted to say NFA should keep messing up our players and their welfare and expecting them to perform. No, I'm not in support of that. That is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. But I'm saying that you might not get very huge motivation, but once you get that platform, make good use of it. Because at the end of the day, it's not just your nation that will celebrate you. The entire world will celebrate you. You'll get bigger endorsements, you'll get better deals, and your life will even move forward. But when they get there, they start playing individual. There's something Mr. Noble mentioned earlier. He said something what happened with Argentina was that the Argentine team were playing for Messi. They're playing for Messi. So they came together and said, okay, this is Messi's style of football. Let us get in line with it. It was as if we were watching Barcelona playing with Messi in form. It wasn't just the normal, regular Argentina team. Right? But if it were to bring that to an African team, you find most people playing individual football, skill, dribbling at odd times. You're trying to, as a defender who's trying to dribble and a striker, and all those kind of errors. So there are a lot of things Africa needs to look into in their football to align them with the current standard in football practice. All right, for them to actually get to that limelight they so much desire. Morocco has made us proud. All right, Morocco has made us proud. The entire world celebrates Africa today because of where Morocco has brought us to on world map in terms of soccer. That is a good one. But we need other African nations to step up. Someone said on TikTok that while celebrating Morocco, that Moroccans are not African, that they are white, that they are Arabs who migrated to Africa and said, that's your business. Are they in Africa? Yes, end of story. Like, they be white in complexion or black. They are African.
Well, in today's match between the Argentine and the French, we saw the president of French, that is Emmanuel Macron, leaving the VIP stage, coming into the field without bodyguards, trying to console the players. And he's talking about sportsmanship, where they should stop politicizing football. What do you think? Such support for Macron coming in person into the field to console his players. What do you think? What effect do you think it has had
Well, thank you
to
so
the
much.
players and particularly down to Africa?
Thank you so much for that question. Permit me to just digress a bit, talk about Africa participation in the World Cup, and before going to that of Emmanuel Macron. Like Val was trying to explain, African and our mentality, just like what we saw today, the match between France and Argentina. You see that France started the match with that. They have that notion that that Argentina were better off. They were more defensive. If you watch the first 45 minutes, France was nowhere.
Yes.
It was a complex. It was a complex, and that's what happens most times when Africans play football. They believe these other people are better off than us, and so we go back to our shelves. You cannot defend football for 90 minutes. If you go defensive, definitely you're giving chances, opportunities to your opposition, which is what France did. And before you knew, they were down 2-0, they started coming back, which was an afterthought. You understand? So for African football, Morocco, like you said, did us proud. Ghana wanted to do something like that last time. They were knocked out by Uruguay in the quarterfinal. But today, this last match, Morocco got to the semi-final, which was the first in Africa. And also in their third place match against Croatia, you saw what they did. They started the match timidly, also like France started, and they were beaten. I will encourage Africans, those people, they are not different, you understand. Thank God for what FIFA is looking at. FIFA is looking at increasing the number of African nations that will participate in the World Cup. If it's increased to 9, I believe it's going to encourage us. Morocco has set the pace for other African nations. We should do what? Follow suit. We can beat anybody if we really want to do that. Then on Macron, Macron showed that he is in tune with his people. You understand? Going to the pitch, even being at the stadium alone, encouraged the players, motivated them. He showed that selflessness. You understand? See him in the pitch, encouraging people. At least they were ready to die for their president. You understand? So I will encourage Africans also, African government also, to look in that direction. We should participate. This is a World Cup. Whichever competition it is, African government should try as much as you can to participate and encourage our players. It go a long way to motivate them. Thank you so much, Macron. I believe what I will take you from that. Thank you.
You can see what has happened today. The Qatar hosting the World Cup in a more spectacular way that had never happened before. So let me quickly ask you the last question. Looking at Qatar, how spectacular that stadium is.
In fact,
what is your view? Do you think they have set a standard that no other country can surmount?
Yes. They've actually set a standard that the next World Cup hosts would have to really step up.
Spend all your money.
In fact, work so hard to meet up, because the standard of stadium, like when we're watching the match, we noticed players who had played for first 90 minutes, extra 8 minutes. Then the second, the extra time, they played for 30 minutes with an extra 4 minutes. All through the match, they were not sweating. What I'm wondering, is it that where our eyes are deceiving us? That's to tell you how sophisticated the stadium is. Also, we could see that stadium is actually like a mobile stadium, right? It wasn't like it was built into the ground or something. The architectural perfection of that edifice is second to none. All right, so they did a fantastic job. I had two of my friends who were there, who witnessed all the stadiums and the stadia, and were shared with me over social media. Like, we're like, bros, say, bros, this thing is actually supposed to be one of the wonders of the world, beyond what you are seeing on the on screen. If you are here live, you would understand what we mean by these edifices are meant to be one of the wonders of the world. They did excellently well. The stadia are excellent.
Okay, let me take you now, Paul. You talk of they cover the social aspect of it, the moral aspect of it. The Qatar, being an Islamic country, set out some religious rules, way of dressing, what is the do's and don'ts. Do you think is part of the success stories, or what about the success of the World Cup in Qatar?
Thank you for that question. I think that religious intonation, I should use the word, their system, their style, was part of the success of the World Cup. Why I say that is this: there are a lot of restriction on alcohol consumption, a lot of restriction on call or ladies of easy virtue. There were a lot of restriction on pulling your shirt and going naked. A lot of things, you understand. So I believe it added that discipline. I will use the word discipline to that to the World Cup that just ended. At least kudos to Qatar. Though I know outside this they said they may have human right violation challenges. You understand, but for the World Cup, I think from what we saw, we were not there. From what we've seen on our screen, I think this helped in making this World Cup, I think, the best. You see, this World Cup showed us a lot of things. First and foremost, like when Val was talking, Valentina talked about Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia. If Argentina can lose to Saudi Arabia, it gives us hope. Brazil losing to Cameroon gives us hope. Japan beating Germany gives us hope. It tells us that no country, none of this country cannot be beaten. Yeah. You understand? So it should encourage us. We learned a lot watching this during these few days. These 64 matches that we just watched. You understand? So I will encourage the African nations, like you said.
Morocco beats Spain.
You understand? Look at Morocco. Morocco beats Spain, Belgium. You understand? It should encourage us that, in short, nothing is impossible with football.
Yes,
thank you so much.
While congratulating the Argentine for lifting the 2022 World Cup there in Qatar, we encourage the African continent to begin to brace up. Let us stop politicizing our football, our athletic events, or sporting events. This is time to start preparing ahead of next World Cup. This is where we're going to draw the curtain for sports updates on Noble TV. Just like, share, and of course, subscribe. Thank you.